Ever since making her Hollywood debut in the Martin Scorsese film The Wolf of Wall Street, this Australian actress has been making waves as one of cinema's most talented newcomers. The combination of stellar good looks and top-notch acting skills has helped land Robbie hit after hit. Whether she's in the African Congo, getting in on a daring heist, or joining a crazy gang of criminals to save the day, it seems Margot Robbie is just about everywhere these days. Not that we're complaining. But even though she's our new favorite actress, there's still plenty we're sure that you don't know.
What?
Here are CBR's 10 things you didn't know about Margot Robbie. Did you have fun with our videos? Hit that subscribe button to stay in the loop with CBR, and don't forget to hit that like button. Shots. Margot Robbie made her big screen debut in Martin Scorsese's The Wolf of Wall Street as the dangerously sexy Naomi LaPaglia. Prior to landing the memorable role, Robbie was best known in her roles on Australian soap operas, mainly the hit Neighbours. Needless to say, one might be a bit nervous when making the jump from soap to the big screen, especially when you're acting alongside Leonardo DiCaprio. That's enough to make anyone nervous. To help her get ready for her big sex scene with DiCaprio's money and drug-crazed Jordan Belfort, she thought it best to take 3 shots of tequila to calm her down. This may not seem that crazy to some, but those shots were taken at 9 o'clock in the morning. Talk about starting early. The shots must have helped, as she successfully did the scenes without any nerves getting in the way. You maggot. What comes to mind when you hear the word maggot? Nothing particularly pleasing, we bet. Ugh. Well, that all might change now, however. Growing up a tomboy, Robbie would rather be surfing the waves or hunting pigs than worrying about the latest fashion trends. Perhaps that's a contributing factor to her family giving her the pet name Maggot. That must have been quite the threat for her other 3 siblings to call her on a regular basis. The nickname was so common for her that by the time she went to school, her classmates were in on the gag, and Maggot became her beloved nickname. Hey, it beats those nasty creepy crawlies any day.
Ow! Who's Venice? Huh? Who?
What's in a slap? Well, if that slap is a career-defining moment, we'd say that slap had everything in it. That's exactly what happened to Robbie during her auditions for The Wolf of Wall Street. Due to being nervous for auditioning for such a huge role, Robbie ended up worrying about what she would end up doing in the audition in order to stand out. Simply reading the script would put her in a league filled with hundreds, if not thousands, of other potential candidates. So what does one do in that situation? Well, slap Leo DiCaprio, of course. Despite being afraid that her improvised slap would get her kicked off the audition or worse, arrested, she was pleasantly surprised when Martin and Leo ended up laughing, with Leo allegedly telling her to do it again. The rest, as they say, is history. Squad. While having a blast on the set of the 2016 comic book film Suicide Squad, Margot Robbie had the brilliant idea of getting matching tattoos to commemorate the fun times they had during the shoot. Not unlike the cast of The Lord of the Rings, who got matching elven tattoos. Robbie took the responsibility of dishing out the ink into her own hands, hoping to add amateur tattoo artists to her growing list of talents. With her tattoo gun she bought off eBay, she began tattooing casting assistant Simon while the rest of the cast got in line or received their tattoos from someone else. Maybe it was Harley's unstable mental condition that caused her to botch the tattoo, misspelling an already misspelled word. While everyone got the intentionally misspelled squad with a K, poor old Simon ended up getting swad. Well, at least his is unique. Soon as the error became known to all, it seemed Margot's days as a tattoo artist were over. To her enjoyment, however, she got to tattoo a V on Jonathan Van Meter of Vogue magazine in 2016.
Sorry. The voices.
The good old hockey game. How many actresses, or actors for that matter, can you name who have expressed enough interest in playing sports? Not too many, we imagine. It should come as a surprise then that the Australian actress actually has plenty of time for hockey. She's a supporter of the New York Rangers, having been photographed numerous times at games sporting her beloved blue jersey. Not only that, but Margot Robbie actually up and joined an amateur league, playing right wing, stating that she always wanted to play, but the Australian climate prevented her from skating, so it was mainly ball hockey for her. She enjoyed playing on the ice, but admitted that her skating game is not on point, and she seriously needs to practice that, confessing she's the worst player on the team. Unbeknownst to her, her Wall Street co-star is an Islander fan. Can you imagine their on-screen fight if she had known that? Birthday suit. One of the more, shall we say, revealing scenes in The Wolf of Wall Street was obviously Margot's nude scene. It's not too often a cinematic debut will see an actress go completely nude for a role, and it very nearly didn't happen. Initially, the scene was to have Robbie's Naomi open the doors and be fully robed. But Robbie wasn't having any of that. Despite being extremely nervous, she decided that Naomi would be the kind of woman who would appear nude, not robed in that particular situation, stating that her sexuality is her only form of currency. When you're dictating terms in your cinematic debut to legendary director Martin Scorsese, you may be a bit crazy, but the payoff was a much stronger scene that had the appropriate reaction from DiCaprio's Jordan Belfort. Despite being willing to bear it all on screen, she refused to go nude for Playboy magazine, saying that nudity was only beneficial to the scene and not for public display in a magazine.
I love this guy.
Born for the role. When most actors want a part in a film, they have to go through the audition process. This is usually done by sending in a demo tape and coming to the studio to do an audition in front of the cameras for the casting department. Such wasn't the case for Margot Robbie when it came to the role of Harley Quinn. Having made such an impression in such a short amount of time, when it came time to cast the Joker's on and off other half, the production already had Margot Robbie in mind and offered her the role without having to go through any auditions. The production certainly had a lot of faith in the actress, and it paid off as Harley Quinn became a fan favorite, and her character was quickly given her own spin-off film with two other DC female baddies, Catwoman and Poison Ivy. While the other two roles have yet to be cast, Suicide Squad director David Ayer will be returning to direct Harley and all of her madness. Great chemistry. Sometimes when two actors meet, they have an instant chemistry together that translates to film and elevates the final product due to the fun-to-watch acting. Well, it looks like lightning struck twice for Will Smith when it comes to this. Despite being married for well over a decade to Jada Pinkett Smith now, that familiar chemistry came back when Margot Robbie came knocking for the film Focus. The pair had an insane chemistry together, on and off the set, which caused many media outlets to suspect the two were having an affair. Thankfully, that wasn't the case. It was simply two great actors getting along. The pair would quickly reunite on set again when they were both cast in Suicide Squad, in roles that fans would agree were some of the best in the whole movie. Will we get to see the pair on screen again for a third time in Suicide Squad 2 or Gotham City Sirens? Only time will tell, but here's hoping that we do.
We're gonna be friends.
Blondes have more fun. So Marilyn Monroe would tell us, which is something that Margot Robbie apparently took to heart. Despite all of her films to date featuring her trademark blonde hair, Robbie actually isn't a blonde. To those who only know her post-Wall Street material, fans might be surprised to learn that she's actually a brunette. How come she changed her hair, you might be wondering? Well, Robbie believed she would be more memorable and land roles easier due to having blonde hair, as she came to discover that the industry has a particular bias towards blonde actresses. Deciding that her future was more important than whatever her natural colors were, she opted to change her hair and has been landing roles ever since. Now that she's famous, we wonder if we'll ever see her sporting her natural color on the big screen at some point in the future. To the circus! It's no stretch to say that Margot Robbie's performance as Harley Quinn in Suicide Squad was one of the better aspects of that film. Whether it was her colorful personality or her unpredictable behavior, fans ended up rooting for the unstable criminal. Aside from being rather proficient with a baseball bat, Harley showed off some rather impressive gymnastics skills. Amazingly, that was actually Margot pulling off the work. She enlisted in circus school when she was 8 years old while living down under and quickly earned a certificate in trapeze. So while she's no Olympian, she definitely had the foundation to take control of the situation herself. So, those are our top 10 things you didn't know about Margot Robbie. What did you think of our list? What surprised you the most about Margot Robbie? Was it her natural hair color, her passion for sports, or her decision to bear it all to enhance a scene? Whatever it was, let us know in the comments section. We can't wait to see what you think. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to our channel to stay in the loop with CBR.